Gauri, let's start, Gauri. Gauri?
Okay, I'm starting.
Yeah.
Teaching is listening, learning is talking. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to CSI Trivandrum Chapter presents Kaleidoscope IT Talks, hosted by CSI SB GECB. Here we go with the 20 brief, crisp, and focused talk in 1 hour.
So let me introduce our first speaker, Lydia, student co-chair STAC CSI Trivandrum Chapter, design head of CSI SB of College Engineering Trivandrum. Sorry. Her areas of interest include machine learning, designing, and video editing. She is an enthusiast and inculcates designing and is also passionate towards teaching and has taken several webinars. And now she's going to talk about 4D visualization. Over to you, Lydia.
Thank you, Pavitra. Am I audible?
Yes, Lydia, you are on.
Okay. So, good evening, all. Myself, Lydia Thomas, here before you to talk on the topic 4D visualization, which is a very vast topic of study. But still, let's have a glance over the topic. Next slide. As far as we know, the space around us consists of only three dimensions. A pair of cardinal directions, we already know left and right, forward and up and down. Mathematically, we call it as X, Y, and Z planes. However, there is no reason to limit our understanding of higher dimensional geometry on space from a physics perspective. Next slide. Yeah. So from a physics perspective, we can see that Einstein's theory of special relativity suggests a connection between space and time. So the space-time quantum consists of three spatial dimensions, one temporal dimensions, and three special dimensions. So let's make it clear with some more example. The next slide, you can see an example. For even moving up or sideways, we can observe a transformation, right? This is a proof that an additional dimension exists. Equating time with the fourth dimension is one example, but the fourth dimension can also be positional like the first three. While it is possible to visualize space-time by examining snapshots of law with constant, it is also useful to understand how space and time interrelate geometrically. We can see some figures in the next slide. Some believe that it is impossible for us to visualize 4D since we are confined to 3D. However, it is possible to develop a good idea of what 4D objects look like. The key lies in the fact that to see n dimensions, one only need n-1 dimensional retina. Even though we are 3D beings who live in a 3D world, our eyes actually see only in 2D, right? Our retina has only a 2D surface, but it can detect light coming into our eyes. What our eyes sees, in fact, it's not 3D, but a 2D projection of a 3D world. Similarly, hypothetical 4D can also be made using a 3D retina and would see the 4D world as a 3D projections. It would not directly see the fourth dimension, but we could infer it using indirect information such as light or shade, parallax, and also previous experience. One commonly explored 4D object we can attempt to visualize is known as hypercube, as you can see in the figure. We know to make a 1D line, we can take a point, make a copy, and move that point to parallelly to some distance away, and then connect the 2 points with a line. Similarly, a square can be formed by making a copy of a line and connecting them to add the second dimension. So to create a hypercube also, we move identical 3D cubes parallel to each other and then connect them with 4 lines as shown in the image. Let's look how 4D rotations look like. So there are rotations in X, Y, XZ, and YZ planes, which happens to be same as in the 3D object. The remaining rotations are the one involving with the W axis, the rotations of XW, YW, and ZW planes. They have an appearance of turning inside out. You can see a cube undergoing each respective notation. Notice that all the 3 rotations appear the same, except that one is turning inside out. Happens along the X, Y, and Z axis. It's important to keep in mind that in all these animations, the cube is not actually distorting or turning inside out. This is just an effect of projecting from 4D to 3D. The cube retains its shape unchanged throughout all the rotations. Next. 4D visualization nowadays getting popularities in many fields, especially in medical field. It helps the medical practitioner to diagnose the patient's problem in a better way. Computer-based program is very useful in the visualization of 4D images. So we can conclude that. Let's hope to see all these amazing dimensional features in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call upon Deva Govind. He is currently the Vice Chair of SAC CSI Trivandrum Chapter and Vice Chairperson of CSI SB of College of Engineering, Periman. About his area of interest, he is very much interested in web development and programming and gymming. And about his technical skills, he is highly interested in web development, especially in the front end design and database management. And he is a good public speaker. So today he'll be talking about touchscreen with feelings. Over to you.
Okay, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Good evening, all. Myself, Devanji of College of Engineering, Piramal, is here to discuss the topic touch screens with feelings, touch screen that could touch back or feeling in the future. So next slide. Okay. In this digital age, our fingers have accomplished to love the touch screens. They provide an easy and emotional way to navigate or the glass screens feel the same. They take, but as far as the tactile experience goes on, they don't give back. The closest way to get the fingers feedback with most comes from the mechanical device that vibrates the screen when your fingers touch. You feel a minor vibration, but nothing more. But think the touch screen could touch you back, or your fingers could actually feel what the screen shows. Next. Okay. The advancements in the touchscreen technology enhances a device called tactile pattern display or TPAD. Can create the images of textures on a piece of glass. Here we can make a feeling like touch screens could touch you back or your fingers could actually feel what the screen shows. Next slide. So it can be implemented to a certain extent with a 25mm diameter prototype, which takes advantage of almost high coefficient of friction between the human skin and the glass. We know glass is smooth, but the coefficient of friction between our the glass and our fingertip is about 1. But when the glass is vibrated ultrasonically, a cushion of air descends between your finger and the surface. The T-pad's 1.6 mm thick glass layer is set into the ultrasonic oscillation by a piezoelectric ceramic disc inserted to the glass. The amplitude of the oscillation can be controlled, reducing the coefficient of friction by up to a factor of 10. The higher the amplitude of oscillation, the lower the coefficient of friction will be. Next. Okay, when you run a finger across the T-pad, you get a very strong tactile emotion of something being there, like a bomb, a dip, or an edge. To create the feeling that you are rubbing your finger against a file grating, the entire plate vibrates so that the amount of friction is equally all over the T-pad surface at any given time. But because the oscillation are restrained as your finger's position changes, the device fools you into thinking that there are varying amount of frictions at different locations. The prototype uses the optical sensors to keep record of your finger's position. The friction reduction can be switched on or off so quickly within 4 ms on an average. The pitch of virtual bumps or the dips can be made far finer than what a fingertip can discern. Next slide, please. Okay. The technical complications of the prototype is limiting how much power the T-pad draws, which is hugely important in mobile devices. In principle, the T-pad doesn't need a lot of power, but in practice, you can run into issues like parasite loss because of power being dispatched through things like mounting. So, and let's hope this technology will develop to a greater extent in the coming years, which could make a drastic change in the technical world as well as in our day-to-day life. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker will be Akia Aya from University of Kerala, Kaleidoscope campus. She is passionate, creative, and enthusiastic computational biology and bioinformatics scholar. She has a strong base in Python and a sound knowledge in C, C++, VB, MySQL, PHP, and a beginner in machine learning. She seeks for challenging opportunities to fully utilize her analytical and investigational skills to obtain a position in bioinformatics. So her topic today is DeepMind for predicting gene expression. Over to you.
Thank you, Pavitra. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So, myself, Akia, and my topic for today is DeepMind for predicting gene expression. Next slide. Let's start with that one common word we have been familiar since the outbreak of COVID 19. Every single person out there is familiar with the term bioinformatics and RT PCR, which is a bioinformatics tool. Each of these was profoundly used for the diagnosis of the still ongoing COVID 19 pandemic, from its genome sequencing to detecting its variants and
Okay, your mic has muted. You're not audible, Akia.
sorry, mic was okay. Let us start one common word we have been familiar since the outbreak of COVID 19. Every single person out there is familiar with the term bioinformatics and RT PCR, which is a bioinformatics tool. Each of these was profoundly used for the diagnosis of the still ongoing COVID 19 pandemic, from its genome sequencing from detecting to detecting its variants and ultimately leading to the drug discovery. What we all have took is vaccines to prevent one. Now, bioinformatics can be used in broader areas like agriculture, disease diagnosis, sequencing, drug discovery, and many more. Detecting 25,000 pieces of DNA in a single human body could be a very adamantine task for a bioinformatician, and this may take a very long time. So, as an alternative, big data, AI, and bioinformatics together pave the way for a new beginning to biomedical sciences. Next slide. What if solving one problem could unlock solutions to 1,000 more? And the solution can be Google's DeepMind introducing the Informer. Where it all began. DeepMind was started by Google in 2010 to accelerate the field of AI than it is today. It took an interdisciplinary approach in bringing together newer ideas and advances in areas like machine learning, neuroscience, computer simulations, etc. So making it pretty easier in field of medical diagnosis, identification of mutations, pathogens causing infectious outbreaks, and the study of rarest of rare diseases. Next slide.
Naina,
മാം
slide is
സ്ലൈഡ്
not
ചേഞ്ച്
visible.
ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് വിസിബിൾ അല്ല മാം
Yes, now it's
Yes,
visible.
now.
Informer, a seven-layer neural network architecture that accurately predicts the gene expression from gene DNA sequences. The model is based on Bayesian-G2 neural network. The model recognizes a vocabulary of the DNA sequence in part to a spell checker and indicate modifications that potentially change the gene expressions. The model was successfully tested sequencing in humans and mice. Next slide. Its primary concerns. It can forecast changes that has occurred to the DNA letters, which may lead to genetic variation or mutations. The term mutation is familiar to all of us as we have heard about the mutative variants of coronavirus, alpha, beta, gamma, etc., and the new one, Omicron. The model outperforms the earlier models like XGBoost, Enhancer, etc. It can decipher the expanding number of diseases associated with variations. Informer is a significant step towards complex genomic sequence studies in generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call upon Nasni Nasir. Nasni Nasir. She is a final year student of College of Engineering, Patnapuram. She is passionate about website development, leadership, and community development. She is a tech enthusiast, and currently she is serving as the chair of IEEE SB College of Engineering, Patnapuram. Today, she'll be talking about illuminating the future of internet. Over to you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So myself Nasrin Nazir. Today my topic is Li-Fi, eliminating the future of internet. Next slide, please. Okay. Do you ever face this situation while downloading a film or song from internet? It's so irritating, right? So imagine a scenario where standing under a light bulb for 1 minute, you would have downloaded around 5 movies in HD. Sounds like a dream, right? So, but thanks to Li-Fi technology, this dream will soon into the reality. We are in a technologically advancing world owing to the development in IoT, VR, and AR applications. More devices are being required to be internet dependent. So, in such a scenario, the dearth of the radio frequency spectrum becomes a significant issue that needs to be tackled. So, we are discussing about this recently proposed and promising technology of implementing light to obtain internet connectivity, which is developed from the roots of optical fiber. Li-Fi was coined by German physicist Harald Haas during a TED Talk in 2011. So we can move on the methodology of this technology. We have two sessions like transmitter session and receiver section. In the transmitter session, there will be a data input which convert to a binary information and which is given to the high illumination LED. And this transmitted signal will given to the receiver section. And in the receiver section, the received signal will be given to the photodiode receiver, and that photodiode receiver will metamorph the light into electric current, and double stage inverting amplifier that will be amplifies the signal, and the binary information will be converted to the original image. So that original message will be given as the output signal in the receiver section. We can move on the architecture part of the Li-Fi internet. So there will be if we on the power button, the lamp driver will be streaming the content from internet and server and will given to the LED lamp side, and there will be a Li-Fi dongle in between an LED lamp and the user. So that Li-Fi dongle will have a photo dictator and an amplification processing part, then received up data. And from this architecture, we can see that how a Li-Fi works, or how the Li-Fi can illuminate the light, and through we can use internet also. So we can differentiate the difference between Wi-Fi and Li-Fi. Li-Fi, it is like we have to think like internet at the speed of light. That is, we get internet at the speed of light. We know that the speed of light is higher, and it is not imaginable. So at the speed of light, we get the internet, and we can download 18 movies at 1.5 GB per second. It is so beautiful, right? So when we think about the capacity or bandwidth, it is 10,000 times larger than the entire radio frequency spectrum. And when we think about the interference, the Li-Fi does not interfere with the radio signals, and it is like the interference does not cause any disadvantages to this technology. And VLS waves are unable to pass through opaque objects such as walls, and that is therefore it is more secure than Wi-Fi. And when we think about the applications part, the applications include the health technologies, airlines, power plants, underwater, information. We implement this technology in shopping malls, convention centers, and businesses, etc. So the applications of Li-Fi can be explored further. And if we started to use Li-Fi practically, then each and every LED bulbs that are available in streets and public places like mall, etc., can be used as hotspot to transmit the data. And the concept of Li-Fi is most welcomed by many people just because of its data transfer speed. And if we use Li-Fi, we don't won't worry about the bandwidth, channel width of Wi-Fi router, etc. And it can be explored further. Then we have lot of advantages over the conventional methods that is already has been here. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So our next speaker is Shaina Sajimun, BTech student of GC Barron Hill, founder and CTO GATS LLP, technical co-chair CSI Trivandrum Chapter, chairman CSI SB GECBH, and also the IEEE Pi Kerala section webmaster. He is a cross-platform mobile software developer and a cyber security enthusiast. His area of non-technical interests include financial management, law enthusiast, and a singer. Today he will be talking about Google Flutter, the future of softwares.
Good
Over
evening,
to
all
you, Shaina.
present. Thank you, Pavitra. Good evening, everyone present here. So, myself, Shaino Sujimon from Government Engineering College, Barton Hill. The topic which I am going to introduce in front of you is Google Flutter, which is considered to be the future of softwares. So, rather than just introducing about what Flutter is and what are its capabilities, I would be explaining about a product or an application which has been developed by myself and my team. And with that, I will be explaining you about what are the benefits of using Flutter. So, next slide. So, next slide, please. Okay, this is the screenshot of the application which we had developed, and the name of the application is Helping Hands. This is actually used for proper communication network or proper communication channel during disasters and all. If there is a flood or something like that, then we could use this application, which has a similar features of Facebook, through which we could post. We could post our queries or inquiries, and we could post for request, and we could move on with that. The application is having a login system as well as a posting system, along with the SOS calls and all such things are available in this application. So this helps us to know what all are the features, highly efficient and active UI as well as user experience has been provided using Flutter. So next slide. The feature which made on selected this application is that the features of this application as well as the approach. We had created a central during disasters, and this is a Facebook inspired model. As during a disaster, people will be at a panic situation, and there they have to be having a very familiar user experience and user interface. So we had taken Facebook inspired model and user and admin in a single application. Whether you are a district administrator or a police officer or a water officer or a fire force officer or even common volunteers, you can do the same application. SOS calls are attached in this application using hardware keys. Authenticity is assured as well as automatic location services. That is GPS and all such things has been embedded into the application as well as user familiar UI. So next slide. At the end, it has been written that 35 days, including deployment, means it takes only around 35 days, which means 1 month to create such a complex app and to deploy this application after the testing process. So the impact of this application is that in this application, everyone turns out to be a rescuer and mitigate the affected ones, and thus we could save more number of lives. Next slide. So as to conclude, why should we use Flutter? With the same code base, we could develop application for Android, iOS, Windows, web applications, Ubuntu, Linux, and all things could be done within a single code base. Hot reload is a feature through which we could rebuild the application within 2 to 3 seconds. Time and budget, as I had said about that, this is a cross-platform application. We could reduce the time as well as the budget as well as fast development. As we had said, it takes only 30 days to develop such a complex application. Many UI features are being incorporated into Flutter, and uh, it provides a similar to Java and all. So it's very native and it's free and open source. That means every developer who wishes to be a mobile app developer could use it. So that's all about Flutter. I hope that everyone could use this application as this is very beginner friendly. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaina. Next, I would like to call upon Amrita S. She is currently active in CSI as General Secretary and also as Student Vice Chair of SAG CSI Trivandrum Chapter. About her area of interest, she loved programming, data structures, and cyber activities. And about her technical skills, she is very much interested in video editing and poster designing. And she is pretty much good at motivational speeches as well. So today she'll be talking about cybersecurity. Over to you, Amrita.
Thank you, Gauri. Good evening, everyone. So myself, I'm Amrita. The topic is cybersecurity. So it's a vast topic. So I would like to introduce this topic through a case study of Annie. Next slide. So here's Annie usually starts from a website www.shoppingcart.com, and she has all the informations like email IDs and credit card details, everything which is stored in a server. One day she received an email with eligibility for special discount voucher from this shopping website. In order to get the coupon, she was asked to fill all the details, and this didn't seem fishy to her at the time, as she thought it was just an account verification step. Little while she realized the danger she would be facing. She was knocked off her feet when a substantial amount of money was wiped off her account. How do you think this will happen? Well, of course, the email she received was a fake one, and the shopping cart account witnessed an unauthorized access from a bank. And this type of attack is known as a cyber attack, and the person who carries out is a hacker. Could Hannah have prevented this attack? Indeed, she could have done this with the help of cybersecurity. And the cybersecurity involves techniques that help in securing vital components, networks, data, and computer systems from another digital access. There are multiple ways to implement security depending on the kind of network you are connected to and the type of cyber attacks prone to so. So let's take a look at various cyber attacks. The one of the most common types of cyber attack is of malware attack. Like Trojan adwares and spywares, it has been got encrypted by certain malicious virus embedded within the attachment. And next is a phishing attack. Next slide. This type of cyber attack, which here the hacker usually sends fraudulent emails which appear to be coming from a legitimate source. Next comes the man in the middle attack. Here, this commonly happens with unsecure Wi-Fi networks and through malware. Finally, the password attack, and it is one of the easiest ways to hack a system. Next slide. And to prevent the future the cyber attacks and to implement a few cyber security practices, firstly, she installed antivirus softwares and installed firewalls, pop-up blockers, uninstall unnecessary softwares, maintain the backup, and check the security settings, use secure connections, and open attachments carefully. How can we protect the cyber attacks? Read the privacy policy carefully when you submit the data through internet. Encryptions, I think lots of website uses SSL, that is secure socket latch, to encrypt the data. Disable the remote connectivities. And the denial of service attack, when multiple systems are used to launch the attack, when a hacker manipulates a standard SQL query in a database-driven website, it is known as a SQL injection attack. Next comes the cyber law of India. And in simple ways, we can say that cybercrime is unlawful acts wherein the computer is either a tool or both. The abuse of computer has also given birth of new age crime that was addressed by the Information Technology Act 2000. Next comes the cybercrime is indeed getting the recognition it deserves. However, it is not going to restrict it that easily. In fact, it is highly continue developing and grading to stay ahead of the law. So to make us a safer, we must need cybersecurity. That's it. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker will be Meenu V, a GC, a student, a student in GC Baden Hill, student vice chair, SAC, CSI Trivandrum Chapter, secretary of CSI Beta of CSI SB GECBH, technical and operational support officer at GATS, and her areas of interest include programming, web development, and designing. Her technical skills include coding, Photoshop, web development. She is a tech enthusiast with interest in web development, and today she is going to talk about blue eye technology. Over to you, Meenu.
Thank you, Pavitra. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Myself, Meenu from Government Engineering College, Barton Hill. My topic for today is blue eye technology. Just imagine when we wake up at morning and switch on the computer says that you are not in a good mood today. And it tries to display some mails or messages to make our mood better. You all might be thinking that this is not possible and this is just a fictional story. But no, this is possible by blue eyes technology. The basic idea behind this technology is to give the computer human power. It has the ability to gather information about you and interact with you through special technique like facial recognition, screen speech recognition, touch recognition, etc. It verify your identity, feel your presence, and interact with you. It works on artificial intelligence. Now, the blue eyes technology uses most common cameras, microphones, etc. to understand the user emotion. The blue in blue eye stands for Bluetooth, which facilitates the wireless connection. That is the interconnectivity between the technology. The I stands for the eye movement, which allows us to obtain lot of interesting and important information. Now let's look some technologies used in blue eyes. Next slide. First one is emotion mouse, which is an example for touch recognition technique. It looks like our conventional mouse, but it serves the purpose of evaluating the emotions of user. It has pressure, photo, temperature, and GGR sensors, which categorize the user's emotions into different categories like fear, anger, surprise, happiness, sadness, etc. It collects the user's physical and psychological information by just a mere touch. Next one is MAGIC, stands for Manual and Gaze Input Cascaded. Here, the eye gaze is used for very high quality selection and handling. The computer could move the cursor by the direction of the user's eye. It reduces the physical efforts and fatigue of the user, and it has greater accuracy. Next one is artificial intelligence speech recognition. These technology help the computer to understand high-level language in which the computer speaks, in which the human speaks. Instead of writing pages of code, we can just casually interact with the computer with our own language. The input words are scanned and matched against the internally stored known words. Next one is Suitor, stands for Simple User Interest Tracker. This is an approach for designing a machine which is capable of maintaining a close connection between the computer and humans. The suitor constantly examines about the user that where he is focusing on the computer screen, and it can identify the interest of the user, and related to this he can provide suitable data to the handheld device. Next one is the eye movement sensor. It consists of a mobile measuring device called Data Acquisition Unit and a central analysis system called Central System Unit. These two systems are interconnected by Bluetooth. The Data Acquisition Unit collects information from the sensor and send to the Bluetooth, and it delivers the message sent from the Central System Unit to the operator. The Central System Unit buffers the incoming sensor data and provide visual interface. Next, let's look at some blue eyes enabled devices. First one is Pog, a robot. This robot is released by IBM. Pog is capable of interacting to the person standing in front of it. It could smile to the person when he calls his name and express loneliness when it loses the sight of the person. Next one is Ford, a car. It is a car manufactured by Toyota, and this is the first blue eyes enabled mass production device. It would keep the driver alert and active, and it would tell the driver to slow down if he drives too fast. Next one, applications of blue eye technology. First one is it retaining the record and interrupt the customer movement. Second one is in operation theater. Third one in automobile industry. Fourth one in power station. Fifth one in video games, and sixth one to create face responsive displays. These are some of the applications of blue eyes technology. As I mentioned earlier, blue eyes mainly aim to give computer human power. In future, our ordinary household devices such as television, refrigerator, oven may be able to do their jobs when we look at them or just speak to them. This helps to reduce the gap between the electronic and physical world. We all hope that this will happen in the future days with the help of this blue eye technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Meenu. Next is Jayant. He is currently serving as the creative head of CSI SB. About his area of interest, he is interested in AI, finance, biotechnology, crypto, and space. And he is familiar with C, CPP, HTML, and Java. About his non-technical skills, he is a stock trader with 1+ years of experience. Today, he'll be talking about artificial intelligence. Over to you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Can you please take my slide? I think it's the wrong slide.
Jayant, you can share your screen. I think there is some delay in their presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jayant, you can use.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, Jayant, it is visible.
Okay. Basically, myself, Jayant, I'm a creative head of CTC CSI chapter. So coming to AI, artificial intelligence is the ability of the digital computer or a computer-controlled robot to perform some commonly done task by human beings. That's just the basic definition of AI. When we come to the practical examples, like if we Google something, we'll get the most relevant result. For example, here I Googled restaurants near me. So first that Google just analyzed my location and compared the ratings of the restaurant and showed me the best restaurant according to my locality. And this YouTube search, it recommends me the series, shows, and movies like what I watched recently. Tesla's self-driving car is powered by AI. Like it analyzes the speed of the cars, the distance between the cars, like and also the traffic control systems and traffic control rules, etc. And when we come to the most practical example, is the AI in finance. As I said, I am a stock trader, so I trade a lot, and this AI helps me in trading. And when we come to the practical examples, we come to stock market predictions. It can predict the market whether it is getting up or down. It can also help in risk management. And nowadays we'll be hearing about credit score, etc. So AI helps in determining the credit cards and loan discussions. It also helps in personalized banking, like it helps us in serving our needs. It also processes automation, and yeah, it helps in trading. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker will be Surjit Kumar JK. He is the chairperson, CSI University of Kerala Students Chapter, Secretary of Computer Science Students Association, and he is from the Department of Computer Science, University of Kerala. His areas of interest include cybersecurity, digital forensics, and computer network. He also interested in Python programming, MySQL, C, C++, and he has a good communicational skills. He is also a beginner in machine learning. Now he's going to talk about Earth 2.0 in Metaverse. Over
Thank you,
to you.
Pavitra. Thank you, Pavitra. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Myself, Sujit Kumar from Department of Computer Science, University of Kerala. And today my topic is about Ed 2.io in Metaverse. Next slide, please. Okay, gone are the days of investing in fixed deposits, bonds, golds, equities, and even cryptocurrencies. In 2021, people have found rather eccentric ways of spending and growing their money. Now, there's a new platform to put money in called Ed 2.0. On its website, it is described as a metaverse between virtual and physical reality, in which real-world geolocations on section map correspond to user-generated digital environments, as it is a futuristic concept for a second Earth, a platform where people can buy digital real estate. And there arises a question now: is it a viable investment option or a scam? As many have gone on to say that Ed 2.0 is the biggest scam of 2021. It just allows a user to trade virtual land with real money, and there is no way out. And even some Redditors have voiced concerns that they put money on the platform but were not able to withdraw it. And others pointed out that Ed 2.0 servers were not well equipped to handle massive traffic. Next slide, please. And about the team, the founder of Ed 2.0 is Shane Isaac, and about the team members, Marco Stano, acting gameplay concept and design, Florian Bone, operations management, Ferran Galvan, lead technical artist, to name a few. Next slide, please. Okay, now understanding the platform, the game has been made using Mapbox technology, where the developers have created a geographically linked digital grid layer that spans across the entire planet. And people can claim ownership of this virtual land in the forms of tiles. And a tile's value is different for different locations. In US, it costs around $58. In Australia, it's about $12.5. And in India, it's about $4.4. Next slide, please. Hello. Next slide, please. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, Sujit, you're audible.
Slide is not moving.
Hello. Actually, we have changed the slide, but I guess there is a problem with the internet connectivity. That's why.
Okay. Okay. According to the developers, this is how it works. We have created a geographically linked digital grid layer that spans across the entire planet, allowing people to claim ownership of the virtual land in the form of tiles. It's our vision that virtual land will increase in value over time based on demand, location, and earning potentials, much the same way that physical land does. And once you buy a set of tiles, you can build property, trade, live, and interact with other players in F 2.0. And it is, in a little sense, another Earth, but behind the screens. Next slide, please. And we should also know what is e-dollar is. And once a user creates a profile, his or her portfolio presenting a total number of properties owned, a total number of tiles owned, and the net worth will be in e-dollars, and the property value changes in e-dollars will all be visible. Essentially, the credit on the platform is represented in e-dollar, and they claim that one e-dollar is equivalent to one US dollars. But it is important to understand that the e-dollar is right now is not a cryptocurrency, but an in-game currency. And they claim that they will launch their own crypto coin in the next phase, and along with the ultimate goal of providing a massive online virtual reality world experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Surjit. Next, we have Malavika M. Hari. About her current position, she is a technical and operational support officer of GATS. She is the student co-chair of SAC CSI Trivandrum Chapter, and she is a chairperson of Beta at CSI SB GECBH. About her area of interest, she is interested in full stack web development, programming, and Photoshop. She is passionate towards web development and has taken several sessions in various institutions. Today, she'll be talking about web scrapping board. Over to you, Malavika.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Malavika from Government Engineering College, Barton Hill. So I'm going to talk about web scrapping board. Before going to web scrapping board, let's see what a board is. Next slide. So board is basically a software that performs automated tasks. They are created to do repetitive tasks, and its speed is much more than the human speed. These are some of the boards, and first one is chat boards. As you all know, they are capable of communication and performing actions similar to the humans. It stimulates conversation in natural language. Next one is the text reading boards. These boards are used for flagging the content and also for translation. Next one is the social media boards. These boards are used on the social media platform, and you may have heard of Twitter boards that control Twitter account via Twitter API. Next one is a transactional board, and they interact with the endpoint, and they have API to enable the movement of data from one platform to the other. And then the video boards, as the name suggests, they are used in video games and all. And last but not the least, it's a web scrapping board, and they are used for the process of retrieving data from the web. Next slide. These are some of the examples of boards. First one is a Facebook Messenger board, and second one is a Google board used by the Google that collects document from the web to create some searchable web index. And the third one is the chatbot, and it is created using the Keras model. And the last one is a web scrapper, and it is used for comparing the fuel prices in different states. Now coming to web scrapping board. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please.
Aminu, should I share, Aminu?
Let me share.
Okay, ma'am, please.
Yeah, I'll share.
Okay, so a web scraping board is a program and it will automate the task of retrieving data from the web based on our requirement. Unlike the long and tedious process of manually getting the data, web scraping uses automation to get thousands or even billions of data. Now, next slide, please. Next, so let's see some legitimate use cases. You may wonder why I've used the term legitimate. Legitimate boards abide the site's robot text files, which list as those page board is permitted to access and those which it cannot access. So first legitimate use case is search engine optimization. With web scraping, there are many actionable SEO hacks to optimize a web page. And the second one is a price comparison. Price comparison sites deploy boards to auto fetch price for the allied sellers. You have already seen a fuel price comparison scrapper. And next one is the market research. And web scraping helps to understand the customer trend and it helps in market research. And next one is the job searching. For job searching, for a specific job, we can use a web scraping board. And stock market analysis, stock market price prediction, and for the sentimental analysis, we can use a web scraping board. And next one is the news monitoring. For companies that need frequent news, web scraping boards helps a lot. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a web scraping board that I work with. When we type the website URL, it will give the title, meta information, and article description. And I have used some Python libraries like request, HTML file lib, and beautiful soup. And for the GUI, I've used tkinter. And this is a web scraping board. We can modify it according to our requirement. Within a click, we can get the information. So, from a plenty of information, we can get the required information within a second. So that's all about web scraping board. Hope you have understood, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker will be Gokul Soumya, co-maintainer of Helix, a modern text editor written in Rust. He actively contributes to open source. He loves reading and thinks when bored. He is doing his third semester in SCT Trivandrum. His topic today is why choose Rust. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So I'm Gokul. I'm from SCT College Trivandrum. So I'm talking about a new programming language called Rust. Next slide, please. So Rust has been voted as the most loved language for 6 years straight on Stack Overflow survey. So that itself speaks a lot about this new language. So its tagline is a language empowering everyone to build reliable and efficient software. Now the key words in that is reliable and efficient. So reliable means that there would be no memory bugs if your program compiles. So memory bugs are a very serious problem in production code and in mission critical code. So it has led to people being killed and missions going wrong because of critical bugs. So Rust guarantees that if your program compiles, it will not have memory bugs like that. And efficient meaning that it's a compiled language, which is like C and C++. It's fully compiled, and there won't be any performance penalties. And Rust achieves all this by learning from the mistakes of its older siblings like C and C++ and borrowing concepts from multiple languages in multiple paradigms. Next slide, please. So Rust has some main features. So One of those is safety, and Rust guarantees that everything you write in it is memory safe. So there won't be any errors like null pointer dereferences or dangling pointers. It's guaranteed that if your program compiles, your program will be free of all those kinds of bugs. So, and it's also strongly typed. It has a very strong type system, and the pointers and references and all those things are checked compile time to ensure that there will be no errors. And it's also fast. It's as fast as C and C++, and it compiles down to a normal machine code. And there is no runtime like Python and Java, which is a bottleneck most of the time. And it's also modern. So C and C++ have a reputation of being very fast, but it also has a reputation of having more bugs, or the programmer is himself making too many mistakes. So Rust solves this by having modern language constructs, but it compiles them down to machine code, and there is no runtime performance. Hit. And then Rust also has good editor support. Next slide, please. So the application of Rust has been in many areas. So Microsoft has recently adopted it to reduce memory bugs. So they took a list of all the bug reports over 10 years or so, and they found out that over 70% of those bugs were caused by memory bugs. So merely by adopting this new language, they could cut down on 70% of their bugs. So it was a big step for Rust. And Linux has also recently adopted Rust as the second official language. Only C has been recognized as an official language in the Linux kernel. Even C++ has not been adopted, but Rust has recently been adopted as an official language. And Figma, I hope you all know about Figma. Figma also uses Rust to speed up their website and have a more responsive feel to it. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gokul. Next, we have Almira Asif Khan. She's a tech enthusiast and she is always looking forward to improve her. She's passionate about UI UX design and enjoy public speaking, event planning, and documentation. She's the editorial head of CSI SB TKM and also she's a part of the doc team of IEI TKM. Today, she'll be talking about metaverse.
With the topic metaverse. So let's begin. Next. Now, isn't this the first picture that comes to your mind when I say metaverse? Yeah, this is the most recent development in the field brought about by Mark Zuckerberg, or Facebook, now Meta. But it's really something more. Yeah, it gained popularity in the recent times during the pandemic, but it existed even before, knowingly or unknowingly. So now let's see what actually metaverse is. Next slide. To keep it simple, metaverse is a 3D VR environment in which people can interact with each other. It is like a next revolution. Imagine how cool it would be if you get a VR of yours like this. Yeah. So it's like a parallel world where you can wander, shop, meet people, basically do anything that you wish. For instance, the internet, you can see the person whom you're talking with or calling, but with metaverse, you can actually experience the person in front of you. The big tech luminaries today are preaching the coming of the next internet. Let's see what exactly is behind all this fan. Next slide. Yeah. Most people think of VR when they hear of metaverse, but in reality, VR is just another technology that provides access to metaverse. It all started with an early computer which would store and compute information, do simple computations. This was the origin of what we think of as the metaverse. As computer progressed, they became the cyberspace, which later network to become the internet, and now we see a major transformation of internet to become the metaverse. Next slide. Actually, metaverse is already a reality. It has its own in many fields today, and it will have more and more applications as the day passes. Be it social fictions or games like Minecraft and Roblox, or in the field of education or fitness and sports, or entertainment events, musical events like recently Ariana Grande had conducted her musical event in a game called
fortnight. It was really noted that time in the fortnight concept. So we expect us to take over any field in the future. So yes, this is a small little info about Metaverse. Now it's your turn to explore more about Metaverse and read more about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker will be Kelvin Patrick Melvin, a BTech student of GC Barron Hill. He's a student chair of CSI Trivandrum Chapter. His areas of interest include cyber. Today, his talk is about an introduction to ethical hack. Over to you.
Good evening, all. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I'll just give a brief introduction to ethical hacking, a few examples of my own. So let's get into it. So hope you guys have heard of hacking. So what is hacking? Hacking is basically a system without any authorization, right? So that's what hacking is. And how do every system or every device will have a loophole or will have something that we can use to into the system. That point is known as vulnerability. So hacking is completely illegal. But if we do this under the surveillance of an authorized people, that's known as ethical hacking. I'll give you a brief story about something. So let's say John has an investment company, and a hacker hacks into his system and blackmails him for certain things, and he just ignores it. And the hacker just he sells all the data, and at the end John had to pay all the customers from his own money. And then he hired an ethical hacker. He found all the vulnerabilities system, and then he created a solution for it. So that's what hacking is. Next slide. Okay, what if they get hacked? So most of us will be using Zomato or Facebook. Yeah, being a little bit outdated, but yeah, most of us are using so many apps like this. We all know that all the basic information provided into these apps for its usage itself. We can't use an app without giving access to permissions like device management and all those. We can't use without giving that permission. So we all know that all such data are being given to such apps. And if one of the app is hacked, then it's all the data can be taken by the hackers and be used to blackmail us or the government or whatsoever. And in 2007, I guess, Zomato have been hacked, and almost 80 data of almost 18 million users have been released into the public. Next slide. So from the slide itself, it says that almost 80,000 people are being attacked per year. So calculating it down, it's almost 2,200 attacks, cyber attacks per day. So it could be one of us, any one of us today or tomorrow. It could be us. So just look out for that. Okay. So I'll just give a brief introduction about hacking methodologies or how hacking works. At first, it's information gathering. So information gathering is actually a stage where you gather all the non-technical information, such as the CEO of the company or the managing board members and all those things. And using this non-technical information, we scan through the network. We scan through the network to find any vulnerability in the network using all informations. And then we try to gain access through those vulnerabilities using coding or any other exploiting functions. Now, after we gain access to the system, the first thing we do is create something so that we can use it to enter the system the next time, like a backdoor or something. If a thief robs into a house, the first thing he does is to open a door or a window so that he can get out and get in as quick as possible. Thing he do, and then after everything, we clear the logs. So if you don't clear the logs, anyone can just look into this log of the computer and find out that such things have been happened. So that's the last step of hacking methodologies. So I hope you guys understood what these steps are. So for all of you, just keep your password safe, change it regularly, keep it in a place that no one can easily access it, because those things are highly secure. Even with your email ID, people can use it for any other use. So thank you.
Thank you, Kelvin. Next, I would like to call upon Vinita Deepak. She's a student of LBS Institute of Technology for Women. She loves coding and web page designing. She is very much passionate about writing and she always pen down her thoughts. Her other hobbies include singing, reading books, and traveling. Today, she'll be talking about honeypot computing. Over to you, Vinita.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Vinita Deepak, and my presentation for today is on the topic honeypot computing. It's basically a technique used as a trap for hackers. The metaphor of a bear being attracted to and stealing honey is the idea behind this technique. So, what is a honeypot? A honeypot is a computer security mechanism set to detect, deflect, or in some manner counteract attempts at unauthorized use of information systems. It consists of data that appears to be a legitimate part of the site and contain information or resources of value to attackers. It mimics a target for hackers and uses their intrusion attempts to gain information about cyber criminals and the way they are operating or to distract them from other targets. Next slide. A honeypot's place in the network. Honeypots are placed at a point in the network where they appear vulnerable and undefended, but they are actually isolated and monitored. Next slide, ma'am. Next, let's see why you need a honeypot in your network. A honeypot has several advantages. By monitoring traffic coming into the honeypot system, you can access where the cyber criminals are coming from, the level of threats, what modus operandi they are using, what data or applications they are interested in, and how well your security measures are working to stop cyber attacks. Thus, you'll have a foreknowledge about any kind of cyber attack and can strengthen your defenses accordingly. There are data types that honeypots capture from or about the attackers. Some of them are the usernames, roles, and privileges used, the IP addresses of the network or host that are being used for the attack, what data is being accessed, altered, or deleted, the actual keystrokes the attackers type out, which lets administrators see exactly what they are doing. Some best honeypot softwares you can use are KF Sensor, which is a Windows-based honeypot that starts monitoring your network as soon as it has been set up. Glasstop is a Python application virtual honeypot that is a low interaction network emulator. Ghost USB specifically focuses its attention on malware that spreads via USB storage devices. Next slide, ma'am. So while using a honeypot, there are some points you need to remember. Never use real data. It doesn't matter what sort it may be, create garbage data that looks real and use it as a bait. Never connect your honeypot to your main network. There should be no way that the attackers could hop on to your network via your honeypot. Use virtual machines. The safest hardware you can put on your honeypot is a virtual one. If you get hit, all you need to do is reboot and recreate it. Firewalls and routers should be the only way to get to your honeypot. All incoming traffic should pass through them before they get on the fake network. Configure all port numbers on them to the honeypot. Usernames and roles should be unique to the honeypot. Create new credentials and use them for the honeypot only. Always test, test. Never let the honeypot go live without throwing everything you have at it. Invite experts to try to break through it and onto your main network before you let it face the internet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Vishal Vidyanand, CSI Technical Head, a second year student in TKM CE. He is passionate about programming and fields like artificial intelligence and web development. He likes to participate in other club activities. Today he is going to talk about IoT. Over to you.
Good evening, guys. I am Vishal Vidyanand, a second year CSE student in TKM College of Engineering, Kollam. Today, I would like to talk about IoT and its driving change in agriculture. Please change the slide. Okay, digital technology such as Internet of Things is actuating the agriculture. So, what is Internet of Things? IoT refers to devices or things that are embedded with a sensor so that they can measure and transmit data via pump sheds and tractors to weather stations. Please change the slide. On farms, IoT allows devices across a farm to measure all kinds of data remotely and predict crop yields. provide this information to the farmer in real life. IoT devices can gather information like soil moisture, chemical applications, dam levels, livestock health, weather, etc. Information generated by these devices allows farmers to track farm operations and performance, make better informed decisions to improve the farm in yield, and respond quickly to their conditions, saving time and money. IoT is putting the data behind all important farmer instincts, whether that be knowing when to check on water supply to a trough, how much fertilizer to apply to a crop, and which eve to check during lambing. Please change the slide. Okay. Our government has committed to uptake digital revolution. Our government plans to increase digital connectivity and usability in regional areas. In the upcoming, we will sure witness the next frontier of agriculture. So change the slide. So that's it from me. Thank you guys for giving me a wonderful opportunity for me. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Vishal. Next, we are going um, for Naina S. She's a secretary, CSI SB GECBH Patton Hill. She is the publicity co-chair of CSI Trivandrum Chapter. She is a technical and operational manager at GATS LLP. About her area of interest, she is interested in web development and digital designing. Today, she'll be talking about quantum computer. Over to you, Naina.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Naina from Government Engineering College, Barton Hill. Today, I'm here to talk about that one topic, which is even used by the company IBM to solve the very complex problems that was not even be able to solve by the most powerful supercomputer of today's world. Yes, it is quantum computer. These are actually machines that use the properties of quantum physics, and they are used to store data and perform computations and calculations. And these are extremely advantageous for performing certain tasks and can even outperform our best supercomputers. Ma'am, next slide. So when distinguishing between the classic computers and quantum computers, we all know that the classic computers store information in bits, that is with either 0 or 1. But quantum computers, their basic unit of memory is a quantum bit or qubit. The difference is that the bit can have either 0 or 1 at the same time. But the specialty of qubit is that it can have both 0 and 1 at the same time. Ma'am, next slide. And this phenomenon of having 0 and 1 at the same time is known as quantum superposition. And this quantum superposition makes the quantum computers extremely exponentially faster than that of the classic computer. Now we have another topic, that is quantum entanglement. Maybe you have already heard about that term, quantum entanglement, the famous film Avengers Endgame. There, they used to mention about this quantum entanglement, that when you are time traveling to the past, your past life at the future stage. So your existence in the past will affect your existence in the future. So this is somewhat quantum entanglement. To explain to you briefly, let us take example that I'm going to buy some apple and orange, and I'm going to keep these apple and orange in same cases, like same box, which are similar look like. So I don't know which box contain apple and which box contain orange. So I firstly choose the first box, and then I open the box. I found that the box contain apples. So automatically I came to know that the second box will contain orange. So this is the quantum entanglement. Similarly, you can see an image where two particles is in an entangled stage. So here the actions performed in one particle will affect the second one, no matter how distant they are or how close they are. So this is a quantum entanglement. And in the next slide, you can see an animation showing what is quantum entanglement. So when you touch the second one, automatically the left one changes to red when the right one is blue. So this is what quantum entanglement is. Ma'am, next slide. Now, I've already told that quantum computers, due to superposition, they are extremely exponentially faster. Now, a question may arise on your mind, that is quantum computer a replacement to the classic computer? But the answer is no. Because quantum computer superposition, they are faster in certain cases to
perform certain computational tasks, they are very faster, but not for every task. So wholly we say that quantum computers are a replacement to the classic computer. Now we can conclude our presentation by looking onto some of the applications of quantum computers. They are extremely used in artificial intelligence, in machine learning, and also in cybersecurity, in drug design, computational chemistry, and you can see so many other applications also. So thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to talk about quantum computers. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Nana. Our next speaker is Sanika, second year BTech computer science student, and she is the event managing head of CSI SB College of Engineering, Periman. Her areas of interest include programming and artificial intelligence. She is proficient in programming languages like C and C++. She will be talking about solar technology. Over to you.
Thank you, Pavitra. My presentation is slightly distorted in the present. Can I present it myself? Hello? Oh, it's all right. It's fine on seconds. So we can begin. Ma'am, first slide. Can we move to the first slide? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Sanika Eslal from College of Engineering, Periman. My presentation is all green today because I'm talking about Solar Tree, an allegory for sustainable development. We all are related in the technical field, and as the nation builders, we play an active role in the development of our nation, and we should be responsible for the consequences of our innovation. So, as a responsible person, we should always opt for a sustainable mode of development. So, I came to the topic solar tree. Ma'am, next slide. So, what is a solar tree? The meaning is quite literal: solar tree, a tree that somehow uses solar technology. So a solar tree is a structure incorporating solar energy technology on a single pillar, like a tree trunk. That is a solar tree. You can see the picture of a solar tree on the left-hand side. It's quite self-explanatory from the picture itself. So next slide. Purpose. Solar tree provides visibility towards solar technology. They are used for awareness for adaptation of renewable energy. They are installed in green buildings as a symbol of sustainable development. They are also to reduce land requirement because it uses less land requirement from the traditional method. Next slide, ma'am. You all might be wondering what invoked the idea of a tree-like arrangement of solar panels. It was indeed inspired from the nature. The technique in the solar tree is known as spiral phyllotaxy. If you observe a plant or a tree that grows around you, it grows in such a crisscross manner, such a way that maximum sunlight incident on the leaf. This is implemented in a solar tree. It provides a way to help the lower panels from the shadow of the upper ones so that it can track maximum power from the sun. Next slide, ma'am. So let's move on to some applications or installations of solar tree. It is a proud fact that the largest solar tree in the world country at Durgapur, West Bengal. Another prominent solar tree installation, ma'am, next slide. Another prominent solar tree installation is the Rose Love Grove's solar tree. This is situated outside the Mac Museum, Vienna, Austria. Rose Love Grove is one of the prominent names you will hear here and there when you research about solar tree. And his take on the idea of solar tree was, solar tree represents the DNA of our time, and it also shows it is possible to beautiful using the most advanced technology. Next slide, ma'am. Super trees in Singapore. Super trees in Singapore shows you the versatility of a solar tree. This sci-fi looking image is not a computer generated one. This is a real life location at Bay South Garden, Singapore, called Super Trees because it acts more than a solar tree. It has numerous functions. They behave as a vertical garden generating solar power. They also act as exhaust air towers for nearby conservatories and collects rainwater. Next slide, ma'am. Next slide. Okay. So, solar trees and super trees shows us the beauty of sustainable development. Their breathtaking signs remind you that technological advancement and sustainability can go in hand. This is the future. The future public spaces will be filled with solar trees. I hope solar trees have inspired you, the future of our world, to dig deeper into sustainable development. And that's 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanika. Next, we have Anjana Krishna S. V. She is a S5 student of information technology. Computer and its working always amused her. She loved reading. Her aim is to improve herself with each step. Her areas of interest are Python, Maths, biocomputer related works, etc. Today she'll be talking about blue jeans. Over to you.
Actually, this is not my slide. Can I share? Okay.
You can share. The link is not working. Please to share the screen.
Yes,
Anjana?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sharing.
Oh.
Give me a moment, ma'am. I'm having issues. 1 second. Okay, ma'am. Can I start?
Yes, yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Once Arthur C. Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technique is indistinguishable from magic. Don't you all think? Good evening, all. Today I will give you a brief introduction about what blue jeans are. As blue jeans, we should have an idea about what supercomputers are. So, what are supercomputers? As you all know, they are the world's largest and fastest computer used for complex computation for scientific purpose. It is similar, that is, it contains hard drives. Hello? Hello?
Just go on mute, please. There's a lot of background noise. Thank you.
Go ahead, Anjana. Go ahead, Anjana.
Please continue.
Anjana, you can continue, Anjana.
Okay, ma'am.
Not audible, Anjana. You're not audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, supercomputers. Supercomputers are the world's largest and fastest computers used for scientific purpose. It is similar to a desktop. It contains hard drives, memory, processors. So there is a significant difference in the clocking speed. It processes higher and speed due to its large number of processors, disk storage, and memory. Hence, it is a high performance computing. So this is what basically a supercomputer is about. It is also known as high performance computing. Hope you all got the basic idea. Now moving on to blue jeans. therefore, the name Blue Jean. Actually, blue is the corporate color of the IBM, and gene comes from computational biology, hence the name Blue Jeans. So, what are Blue Jeans? Actually, this Blue Gene is a cooperative project among IBM's Livermore National Laboratory, the United States Department of Energy, and academia. It is a what it is actually is. It is a computer architecture project designed to produce supercomputers in order to run operating states in pflops or petaflops, that is 10 raised to 15 range. So what it actually do is instead of million instructions per second, they operate in floating point. So actually, and also there are 4 supercomputers in this Blue Gene series, and the first and the foremost one is Blue Gene L. It has a peak speed of over 590 teraflops, and it is owned by EPFL, that is École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne. So imagine the power it holds. It is actually huge, guys. It is enormous. So where is it actually used? So I'm going to show you science. So basically, it is used in the Blue Brain project. That is for estimating brain simulations by using digital reconstruction comprehensive. It helps to study the nature of the brain. It is also used for computing human proteins for them, and also help to study the structure of biomolecular structures. It also helps in portraying human genome, radioactive decay, even climatic trends and fossil fuels. See, it is quite useful. So this is what a Blue Genes. From all this, I can say that Blue Gene has a significant influence. It has a significant influence across the information technology. Due to this importance in medical field, President recognized this IBM and its Blue Gene family with the National Medal of Technology and Innovation. Out of the most top 20, 80 are built on this IBM technology. So I'm concluding by saying that Blue Gene technology has a great hold on the upcoming future development and much more. Hope you all got an insight about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjana. Our next speaker is Grigory, membership head of CSI SB CE. Of interest include cybersecurity and programming. She is enthusiastic about current technologies, developments, and research in the field of artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. Her cultural skills include sports, listening to tech talks, and etc. And today she will be talking about air cars. Over to you.
Am I audible? Myself, Gregory Job. I am from the College of Engineering, Perman. And next slide. So, the major issues we are facing nowadays: heightened petrol and the pollution. So, here I am with the solution: the air car. So, what is an air car? By definition, an air car is a compressed air vehicle fueled by pressure vessels filled with compressed air. Or we can simply say that it is a vehicle whose primary fuel is pure compressed air. Next slide. Now let's discuss about the principle of air car. The easiest way to see this is an action is to inflate a balloon. The elastic skin of the balloon holds the air tightly inside. But the moment you are using a pin to create a hole in the balloon surface, the air expands outwardly. From this, we can understand that the compressing air into a small space is a way to store energy. And when the gas expands, this energy can be used to do the work. And this work is the primary fuel of air car. Next slide. Okay. So now let's discuss about the working of air car. Working of an air car is similar to every vehicle, but in the case of an air car, the input fuel is pure air. First of all, we are inputting pure air to a storage facility, and storage facility, the air is compressed with the help of a battery power, and this compressed air is transferred into a reservoir through which this air is introduced into the piston, and there we'll get the air car ready to go. Next slide, ma'am. And now let's discuss about the concludatory points of air car. One of the major advantages of the air car is that it's eco-friendly. It doesn't emit any types of carbon emission to the atmosphere. And next, it's economical. And one of the major disadvantages of it is it gives only a less output power. It can only give a maximum speed up to 40 to 60 kilometers per hour, which is very, very less compared to the other vehicles using fossil fuels as their primary fuel. And next, an important major point about air car is that it can be potentially contender in the EVs market. You all know that electron vehicles is making a revolutionary change in our transportation sector. But the disadvantage of electronic car is that it uses harmful chemicals in their storage cell. But in the case of air car, there is no such thing as harmful. It is fully eco-friendly. So I believe everyone understood the concept of air car. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next, we have Advaita Jayakumar. She is the project manager of CSI SB GECBH. She loved programming, web development, and designing. She's a tech enthusiast. Today, she'll be talking about augmented reality. Over to you, Advaita.
Thank you, Gauri. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So myself, I'm Advaita Jayakumar from Hill. I'm sure enough you all, especially the ones who are present here, have heard the term augmented reality because AR has been around for a while. I am here to share some brief information that I acquired about augmented reality. Over to the next slide. What is augmented reality? A technology that superimposes a computer generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. This is what you receive if you Google the term AR. More than relying upon the definition, it will be better to walk you through an example. Previous slide, ma'am. Okay. So, yeah. So, more than relying upon the definition, it will be better to walk you through an example. Some time to take pictures, and for the younger generation, including us, it is an indispensable part. The most attractive or attention seeking feature are the filters, where we have the provision to change style, appearance, or even wear cooling glasses. Isn't that cool? Actually, it is AR behind the scene that makes this cool. If we roll a couple of years forward, there will be even times where when confronting others, their social media ID flash before you. Maybe for that to achieve, you won't even require a device like mobile phone. It is quite possible through glasses or lens. There is this movie called Nosedive from a British science fiction series, Black Mirror. While the movie happens in future where the society is dictated by rating system, there each person has some technology embedded in their eyes through which they can see others' rating, moreover information regarding them. Before we dive into the nut and bolts of AR applications, let's discuss the history of AR. Maybe it is a bit of surprise for some of you since everyone thinks AR is a new technology. Well, on contrary, it has been around for numerous decades. Don't worry. I know you all are monotonous since we are moving to the end of the section, but still, we need to understand who is the person who developed the first AR gadget. Well, it is Ivan Sutherland. His picture is there on the left side. And the gadget he developed, which is named as Sword of Damocles in 1968, that is what I shown on the left hand side. So the system uses computer graphics to show users simple wireframe drawings. Next slide, ma'am. Okay, so navigation. Sorry about the inconvenience. Okay. Google Maps places digital direction on top of the real world and shows where to move. And in case of medical, it helps a lot in diagnosing and examining a person's internal organs. And for others to perform sophisticated surgeries, AR boosts the depth and effectiveness, where they can delve into human body in an interactive 3D format. Retail environment is about browsing through smartphones to compare prices or to look up additional information. Motorcycle brand Harley Davidson created an AR app which shoppers can utilize in store to view motorcycle they might be interested and customize it using app to look on its appearance, which color they might like. Doesn't that so great? Let's think about purchasing a furniture or arranging it. Even without the furniture itself, its appearance can be seen. Now, games. You might have heard about the most worldwide popular game, that is Pokemon Go. More than 380 million people playing it. That is one of 20 people on Earth. This is actually an application of AR. Ma'am, next slide. Okay, and about the Snapchat filters, which I have already mentioned in the starting, and Google Glasses. It is about to take a massive leap into the future. The Google Glasses are like the first generation wearable computers. Things are displayed in an attractive way that will not block your view of real world. Assume you all might have noticed the pictures I had on my first slide. That was of Iron Man as well as Peter Parker with Tony's glasses. Of course, you all cannot forget Jarvis, which was the suit's internal computer system that allowed Tony Stark to see all sort of digital information. Who knows, maybe in a few more years, all have these suits, same as Jarvis, and can jet around the sky.
Thank you, Advaita. She was the last speaker of the day. Now, I would like to extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the speakers for gracing your ideas and sharing with us your knowledge. Thank you to the audience. Thank you all.
Thank you, Gauri and team. Kaleidoscope Talks seeks out to young speakers to explain technology in just 3 minutes. Novel format in the current scenario, which further enhance the skills of our young speakers. CSI Trivandrum Chapter is really happy to extend our support and train young speakers in this new format. I congratulate the efforts of Government Engineering College Barton Hill, who could reach to 20 speakers and could meticulously coordinate this event for the past 2 to 3 weeks. Hats off to Malavika and her entire team in coordinating this event. Next week, we'll be again meeting with yet another talk and let us share our knowledge and meet together. See you all